Hello everyone. Well, we're almost at 6,000 subscribers and it's really growing. And I just wanted to, this is a little bit shorter. I've been working on the baby animatronic's core head. And I've been, switching back and forth. But I just wanted to show you what I've been working on the animatronic creature. And this has 8 servos in it, and this is where I'm at. I'm working on the jaw. This is the whole modular design. I would call it a mouth mech, kind of modular design. Now this mouth mech, I guess, would have 3 servos, the upper lip, the bottom lip, and the jaw. The center upper lip, it will be on the top plate, and that's where the eyelids are. I reduced the size of the entire mouth, and I did that today to kind of tuck it in a little bit. It wasn't looking right to me, so I shrunk it down a little bit, and I moved that servo that was on the jaw. I moved it a little bit more to the left when I'm looking at it from behind, but I moved it to the left so I could get more space for that area, because I extended where I could put the linkage to the lower lip. I could scoot it over, that way I could scoot the servo over, and that way I could just make the whole mouth mech smaller. But it's coming along. It's just, this is the tedious part of designing. I've just been like designing a little bit, looking for the areas where the screw holes are going to go, because more likely I'm going to cut these plates or keep it like the mouth mech separate, so I can invert it and print it flat on the build platform of the printer. That way I don't have to deal with them supports. But as you see here, I'm working on the brow mech, and I pulled these 2 servos right here out of their component, and I labeled them green. That way they'll stay, 2 servos will stay in a component, and not have all 8 being on, all of them being on a component. But like this brow, I'm making sure everything's kind of center, and then I'm trying to develop a holder for these 2 lever mechanisms for the brow. And then this holder is going to be like a table, and it's going to have to go and connect to the floor below it. And this table is going to have 3 servos on it, and it's got to make sure that everything is clear. I've piddled around with certain kind of designs, but in all, everything has to fit kind of tight so I can put a skull on top of it. And then the skull is going to have more likely neodymium magnets, and it'll just pop on top. But like I got to make sure everything's going to be clear. But plus, like the so-called table legs are going to have some type of connection point screws, and then I'm just trying to foresee on what kind of design that needs to be. I was even thinking today that I could probably add more servos inside this head, being that the wing servos are so thin. And I did talk to my servo guy. He's shipping them out tomorrow, and I'm happy to hear that, and we can get this thing going. But I appreciate all the subscribers and all the wonderful comments and the thumbs up and the shares. And I'll be in a YouTube studio, and I'll be looking at all these, so many comments, and But I'm just surprised that how fast this channel is growing and how many people actually have an interest in animatronics. I knew that there was an interest in it, but man, I'm really happy. Yeah, it's can be kind of nerve-wracking sometimes when, like earlier I was saying, I'm gonna put a leg here for this table, and I'm gonna put the other one here, but then you can't get it in a place you really want it because something's gonna be there or it's gonna be too far out. But that's just part of it, It's you work at it until you figure it out and you solve the problem. But when I have the FCL files available to some of these animatronics, and then I'll tell you the things that you'll need to get, and as far as supplies, and I've been once again been contacting all the suppliers for these little parts, and basically got a little list of what to get, and there's some things different from one servo to another, and different type of animatronics. But if you build one of mine, that one of the SDL file kits that I'm going to have available, if you build one just to see it move, you will have that, I guess, the fever, because you'll understand on it is when you see it, you'll say, "Well, wow, that's pretty simple." But it's it is simple, but it's designing it to where nothing interferes with each other. Yeah, I worked on these little rib things. I do a lot of testing to see how I could get something, if this would work, test it, if this can be attached somehow, some way. Can I connect this table to these legs or these arches so I can have kind of a form how I want the skull to go? And then when I get the skull made, I can copy the entire thing with everything partially open, and then I can put it into ZBrush or I could put it into Blender. Either way has a sculpting program, so but that's the goal. But there's probably about 15 parts I've been working uh, on this so far. But this plate's almost done. I got to add two servos. These sockets right here, I have to add those or connect them to this plate. And then that way it would be, that'd be complete. But then I have to add screw holes to it also. But I worked on this jaw. Y'all seen that earlier, to where I was just mainly working on it to see where I could put screws at. But and to see, like right here, how open can I open it until it bumps into something. But it's pretty neat. I'm kind of happy with this little design. So I got clearance there on that servo, and like I was telling you earlier, that I had moved that servo a little bit to the left. That way I wouldn't have any more of that clearance. But then I still got to add a linkage point to where the linkage will connect to the jaw, and then finish the linkage that is on the lip too for the servo that's stuck to the jaw. And then another linkage that goes to the upper, uh, I guess the double lip. A linkage would need to go there, but that's um, four pieces. But I also shortened the eyelid supports on the outside. I brought them inside some so they wouldn't be so far apart. I'm just kind of condensing down everything. As you see here, I shortened both sides down, and being mirrored helped. But it's starting to look more appealing to me. But then these little table leg things, I'm just playing around with them. I extended them, see if I could add some kind of support. But they would be pieces on their own because I'd have to connect that to that. But just to show you the size with these 8-wing servos, this is $1 and a 156. 156 millimeters is the size of $1. So this is the size on what I have so far. But this is great. I'm happy with this size. You know, once again, I could probably change more things, and probably will change things. But it's coming along. Got the brow table started. Uh, Worked on the mouth. But once again, I'd like to say thank you to everybody, and thank you for sharing. I was surprised on how many of y'all have been sharing my work, and it's getting out, and I appreciate that. And the likes, and we're going to be making our creatures move really soon. So thanks a lot. Later.